Tonight we're going to call Going Deep with me and Marie because we've got a one-on-one class tonight and it's going to be super fun. It's called What We Record, We Project. Now, what could that be? We're going to talk about where are the recorders? What do you mean project? We imagine our mind like this back in the day, VCR recorder camera that's video. And so something comes into it, and then later on we play that. And so we record something and then we project something. And why is it important to know anything like that? Who knows? So I'm going to start a little slideshow that I have for us. We're going to share the whole desktop.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go like this. Can you see a slideshow?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Does it look like a camera?
Yes, it does.
So that's our kind of intro to what subject we've got going on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But like always, I want us to just stop for a second,
Mm-hmm.
just set our intention and motivation for being here together. Is
Mm-hmm.
what am I going to do while I'm here? And why am I going to do it? It's my intention tonight as the facilitator for this subject to introduce us to what we record with, how we record, how it affects us, and then what choice we have within that to hopefully let us realize that we do have a lot of choice and we can create a more beautiful world for ourselves and others.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for doing that. So I put these little cool images in our slideshow today. I think that my
Mm-hmm.
thing pops around with it. We'll see. So every single moment, our senses are recording what is around us. There's a good hint on where those recorders are.
Mm-hmm.
Our senses are the recorders. Now, AI has been very helpful, but it is cracking me up that the spoon on this lady is backwards in her mouth.
You're not supposed
Wow.
to eat the spoon, silly.
Can't taste that one yet, but we'll get there. The things that we record leave these impressions in our mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like think of the first time that you heard Walk This Way by Aerosmith,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's kind of like, oh, I totally remember that was in high school, and I remember this, and it's kind of bell-bottom days, and like there's all these things that are still in our mind
Mm-hmm.
from when we recorded that years ago, right? So recordings leave these impressions in our mind. When we can focus on them, right, boom, we can tap what that impression was. And then later on, those impressions influence what we project back out. So if I had never known anything about Aerosmith, then when somebody brought up Aerosmith, I wouldn't have anything to put out towards Aerosmith because I wouldn't have heard about it. I wouldn't be familiar with it. I didn't have an experience with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did have an experience with it, it created something in my mind. And that stays there and that affects what I then put out.
Mm-hmm.
So in Buddhism, usually we say there's 5 senses, right? In Buddhism, they have 6. So they call them the recorders or the sense bases. Now, don't let that spoon distract you the whole time. Okay. So one is the eye, and they call it the eye consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
ear consciousness, the nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and then they add the 6th one that they call the mind. So the eye, this eyeball of ours It records light and form, nothing else. But when it goes through that consciousness into our mind, then our mind records something beyond just light and form.
Mm.
The ear records sound, not an impression of sound, not an opinion of sound, not a judgment of sound, just simply sound. And then it goes someplace. And now this new thing occurs where we get a feeling and then we get a reaction. The nose simply records smell. And feel free to interrupt me if you want to have any comment or thing.
Mhm.
So smell, that's it. But we could say, oh, what a pleasant smell. Pleasant wasn't located in our nose. But pleasant was somewhere in our mind.
Mm.
The tongue records taste. The body, oh, this is cold, this is rough, this is whatever else is, right?
Mhm.
Feels okay. Drink lid. But then this judgment, cold, rough, goes on beyond drink lid that my body felt. So the thoughts and the ideas are recorded by the mind. Okay. So we go deeper into how does experience get formed? How does our experience start in the beginning? So first there's that sense organ, my eyeball. Then there's an object, drink lid. And then there's this consciousness, oh, cold, soft, rough, drink lid. Okay. When this drink, I'm going to put it here. When this drink lid meets my eye, like instantaneously, it also meets my mind.
Mhm.
They do have in the Dalai Lama's book about mind, there are different perspectives that either feel like it's absolutely instantaneous or first it meets the mind and the eye and then it meets the mind. I'm not caring because it's like a 1/1 millionth of a second argument that I'm not willing to spend time on or debate, let's say. But so the eyeball sees the lid, goes into the mind has some judgment about it, but that interaction at that point with all three of those things is what is called contact. Just as we're trying to figure out how do we use definitions for things, that moment is contact. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
Oops. So the eye sees the beach, goes into my mind. The beach is here, and all these things about the beach. Like, how many things come up so fast the second you saw the beach? Right?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's the moment of contact right there visually. Organ, sense organ, object, and consciousness equals contact.
Mhm.
Those plus and equals are in the wrong place. I just noticed that. It's plus, 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 and then equals on the contact.
Mhm.
So the contact leads to a feeling. When you saw that beach and you thought things about it, didn't you have a feeling right off the bat?
Mhm.
Isn't that a trip?
Mhm.
Like, boom, one thing, just like that. Contact leads to feeling.
Mhm.
Oh, beach, love the beach,
Mhm.
right? And then feeling leads to reaction.
Mhm.
Here comes Freddie. See if we can let her in. Hello, Freddie. Welcome. I'm
Hi.
going to back up just a little bit because it's pretty easy to back up through these, okay?
Mm.
Oh, it's just the three of us. Well,
Just the
hello
three
there,
of us.
Bonnie.
We're going to
Hi
get
there.
intimate. Let's see if I can exit and back up. Our subject tonight is what we record, we project,
Mm.
how the senses shape the world we experience. Okay. So I'm going to invite you really quickly. Thank you for coming late. Just set your quick intention and motivation.
Mm.
You're right back.
Now we're going to look at these for a sec. Every moment, our senses are recording the world. And these recordings leave impressions in our mind. Our mind, right? Our mind. And later, those impressions influence what we project back out into the world. So, as per Buddhist thought and philosophy, the 6 recorders, cameras, whatever we can reference it to, a video camera, the 6 sense bases are those recorders. And those sense bases are the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Mind is the difference between what they call Western philosophy on the senses and Eastern philosophy with Buddhism on the senses. And those do not interpret or judge. The eye does not interpret or judge. It just records light and form. So the eye consciousness sees light and form, reflects it into the mind, and the mind brings into an experience from the past that now judges or puts something onto that light and form. Ear records sound. It doesn't record awesome sound. It simply records sound, and then it goes into the consciousness, and the consciousness relays something about that sound. So same with nose, same with tongue for taste. The body records sensations, and then the mind records thoughts and ideas. So they say that this is how experience forms. You've got a sense organ, you've got an object, you've got consciousness, and at that moment, that's called contact. If the I consciousness did not have an object of light and form, there's nothing there to put into the consciousness to create contact. So there must be these 3 things: a sense organ, an object, plus a consciousness in order to create that moment of contact. Okay? A little visual for us. The pluses should be plus and plus, and then the equal is the contact at the bottom. Sense organ plus an object plus consciousness equals contact. Now, like Karuna likes to say, we have to have definitions for everything so that we can agree on what contact is in this instance, what we're referring to with regards to it. So contact is what leads to feeling. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to invite you to look at that beach with your eye consciousness or your eye sense organ and notice if there was anything at that moment of contact. Was there anything that came up for you with regards to a judgment or a projection or a opinion or something about the beach? Right? Was it just completely neutral, or did something, oh, nice sunset or something come up, right? Boom, without even knowing it, there it is, and it's so fast. So contact then leads to feeling. Ooh, I saw that beach. That was a lovely beach, right? And just like that, seeing something, whoo, we have a feeling in our body. And then feeling is what leads us to reaction. Now, we like to say response in the counseling world rather than reaction. But if we take our reaction to the word reaction out of it and we just consider it scientifically, a feeling is a reaction that leads to a reaction. A feeling leads to this type of response. A feeling creates this something.
Mm.
Oh, so the feeling of anger could lead to a reaction of a fist tightening or a hit or something. Now, I added this one in here because this is a whole class in itself, but I think it is an incredible thing to add here, that as immediate as things are between sense consciousness, response, there is the capability when we slow ourselves down to create that sacred pause. And we can say, whoo, the instinct to react is here, but I stopped it. And now I'm going to choose if I want to do anything. Marie and I love to be a log, right? Maybe I just want to be a log because I don't know what I want to do right now, and it's better to do nothing when I'm not sure it's going to be positive. Or I see it and I wanted to go like this, and I decided to go like that instead, right? I saw something and went, what the? Maybe I should understand more about this. So between stimulus and response, which I can call contact, and then action, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. Now, if we intentionally speed up our life, we lose that sacred power, that sacred space. We come instinctual only, and that's all based on everything we've already known. And our ability to change our behavior decreases. The behavior is the hardest thing to change. Absolutely the hardest thing to change. We practice on our Metaverse meditating so that we have Karuna was talking last week when he was with us. Karuna Ketan was with us, and he was talking about changing our behavior takes hearing a lesson, thinking about the lesson, and then experiencing it. And oh, whoa, whoa. And in order to experience something without waiting for the real world to bring it to us, we use meditation for that. It becomes this amazing tool where we can go, oh, I imagined myself as somebody who was never doing anything wrong, completely forgiven for anything she's ever done, and now had an interaction with somebody, and that interaction was so different than this person I carry around with me that doesn't deserve to be forgiven for some mistakes she's made in her life. And we feel that if we did an exercise on imagining ourselves as somebody who every last thing we've ever done has been totally forgiven. And now we're just loved. And now we're just this beautiful, loved being going through the world, interacting with others. How would it change? Could change. So that response, in that response lies our growth and our freedom. And we can play with that with meditation, with listening, contemplating, meditating. experiencing something different because we experience ourselves in a new way. And now going, whoa, maybe I should try that out in the world. So every experience plants a seed in our consciousness. Could be a prickly seed. Could be a nice, beautiful, fruity, flowery seed. But every experience, I want to make this part super, super clear. Every experience puts something into our consciousness. So if we experience something and it feels negative back, and we go back and we do it again, we do it again, we do it again, it's like negative, 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 negative. And we're just planting. I love cactuses, but we'll say that those are not our thing we're trying to plant tonight. Next thing you know, our mind is this garden of cactuses, and we're afraid to go there. This is too prickly. So we have to like intentionally find what is it that creates an experience of more flowers, more fruit, more something that can feed me and nurture me than this experience that's taken away from me, that's creating a negative experience for me. So every experience, whether we want it to or not, plants a seed in our consciousness. Those seeds ripen into perceptions, the way I perceive the world, emotions, what I feel about those perceptions, and then how I act based on my perceptions and my emotions. Now I act that way, becomes my tendencies. So whatever we plant grows. Whatever we cultivate grows. We can look at it like one at a time. Like when we bring up the idea of what if I saw myself as this person who's completely forgiven of all the mistakes I've ever made? I'm this potential of love, totally blank slate. Now, when I go to plant this new seed in my mind, wow, it feels so filled with opportunity. It feels like I could make an effect on what's here now. So we can, whether or not we see ourselves as this person who is totally forgiven of anything. I felt like it was a pretty interesting experience to consider myself forgiven of everything, but I've had people say, I don't think I've done anything wrong in my life. So I hope this is hitting differently than that. Go ahead, Freddie.
I can give you a whole book of my problems.
Right?
I'm a very fallible human being. I'm completely aware. Yeah, I'm the first to admit that. My question was, and I don't know, and this is my first time where you're giving a presentation, so is questions okay?
Absolutely.
I
Totally
just
open.
wanted to know your thoughts on missing an opportunity, and I'll give you a very just generic. You're in
Yeah.
traffic. Maybe you're in a bad mood because traffic doesn't typically bring out the best in us, right? And somebody wants to get in. And usually I'm the type of person to let somebody in. But what are your thoughts on when you bypass that person or you don't let them in? Like intentionally, you don't let them in. And then you have that immediate, what the F? Why did I do that? Why didn't I just let them? Because I'm a believer in, might sound woo woo, but like the butterfly effect.
Mhm.
Like I'll pay for someone's meal behind me, like if I'm in a drive through. I don't need a thanks or anything. I just feel like that good intention just kind of does this. It has a little vibration. And
Yes.
maybe it helps the next person who helps the next person. And maybe they won't buy the next meal, but they'll be kinder like later on, or they'll say to somebody at work, yeah, some broad in front of me like bought my meal. Isn't that weird? And like that person will hear it and think, but what are your thoughts on the bad seeds that we're planting, even when we're trying to be focused in a good mindset? Like, what can you speak to that? Like, I don't know if it's going to be in your presentation or just if you want to like talk out loud about it.
Let's talk out loud about it because
Mhm.
it's not in here. And it is something to be considered. I want to unshare. I want to go pause. Nope.
Hi, Don. Welcome.
Hi, Ladon.
Well done.
I don't know how to stop sharing really quickly. Whoops.
Don,
Don,
you're
you're on
muted.
mute, but it's great to see your face. Unmute.
Hi everyone.
Hi, how are
Hi, thank you
you?
for information. I'm good. I'm good. I have my ups and downs, but I'm okay.
You've been
I'm
on.
happy to be with you guys. How are you? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. It's great to see you. We're doing so Freddie, you want to ask that again?
Don, we were talking about planting the seeds in our mind. And my
Yes.
question to Denise and Marie, and even to you, is for example, if you're driving in traffic and you typically you're at the light and you let the person in like who's coming in off of a side street,
Uh-huh.
but in that moment you're having a bad day and you're like, no, like you can wait,
Yeah.
but then you immediately have the regret of, why did I do that? So I'm
Uh-huh.
asking Denise and Marie and perhaps you,
Yeah.
how do you withdraw that seed? How do you kind of counterbalance it? So that was where you just walked in and Denise was going to share with
Okay.
us her
Okay.
thoughts.
Okay. Thank you. I'm thinking about it. It's interesting.
So I have a question for you, Freddie.
Mm,
What
yes.
might potentially have been the cause of your bad day?
Oh, I mean, it could be any number of things. If I'm not content in myself and I'm not being self-aware, perhaps I'm not doing my breathing exercises, perhaps I'm not, whatever the case may be. Maybe somebody just cut me off, so I felt like, well, you're not gonna get in on me because somebody just got in, like it's a tit for
That's where I
tat.
want to go with this example.
Mhm,
That's
mhm. Yeah.
exactly where I want to go. So your first question was if I'm planting something good because I want it to vibrate out for the butterfly effect, is what I do that's not intentional and therefore not that positive towards somebody else, will that ripple out also, right? I think you have to do something with your kitty or something. Auntie, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've had that happen to me before. I'm usually pretty, feeling pretty, open and gracious towards people in traffic and, letting people go. But I have done that before where like sometimes I'll let like two or three people go, then I'm like, I'm not letting this next guy go. I need to go, like I already let two people go. Like, you know what I mean? I did. And so sometimes you get that, or you're just kind of in a mood where you're not really focusing and there's no like ill intention behind it for me. Usually it's just a matter of non-awareness and not just not really paying attention, not focusing on that. So
So if
I,
her question is if I'm not intentional about what I'm doing, but I don't
mhm,
let the guy in,
mhm.
could that also have a butterfly effect?
Uh, well, I think that's a hard one, but I think intention has a lot to do with it because I think
I want to add to this part a little bit just so I don't put you too much on the spot.
oh, okay.
When I
But
asked her what could have been the cause of your bad day that didn't want to let you let that guy in,
mhm.
her second answer was the guy before me didn't let me in.
Oh, well, that's exactly what we're talking about. So that person didn't extend courtesy, so you felt a little jaded, and then you didn't extend the courtesy.
So
So there
without
was,
the intention, could the effect still be there?
I guess it could be because yeah, it definitely because it was because it happened. But I think it is because I think it's some, yeah, I think it does, even
Now,
without intention.
the full karmic action of that act,
Hmm.
without it being, I wanted to hurt that person, I
Hmm.
hurt that person, and now he's hurt.
Hmm.
That's like a full
Yeah,
situation,
yeah,
right?
that's its own
Instead,
interpretation.
I don't even know what's residing inside of me, but I know I don't feel like letting this person in, so I'm not, and so I
Mm.
didn't. And now, and
Yeah,
I look back and I go, ooh,
yeah.
that guy didn't let me in. I ended up not letting this person in. Now I'm in this situation, and
So
it
it had,
did reverberate
yeah, in the opposite way,
in
like,
the opposite way.
hmm.
And which is, for me, this is great motivation for us to understand, why are we trying to wake up? Like, what is the benefit of feeling this world? What is the benefit of being aware of so much? Right? Most people, most people will say it is easier for me to just not know. If I'm aware of everything, I'll be overwhelmed. I would rather just do my thing, and the next thing you know, I'm driving down the thing and I'm not letting anybody in. And I don't even know what's happening, but it is absolutely reverberating through you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we go back to there, the pause.
Hmm.
Unless we are awake, we cannot realize that between the stimulus of that driver not letting me in and my response of not letting the next person in, there was a space. In that space, I have a choice. And in that choice, I choose my response. So it's just because the intention of the action wasn't there fully, consciously, the intention of that action was still there. It just, we weren't aware of our intention.
Hmm.
That's why we try to practice when we come into class to say, let's set our intention, let's make it really clear. Now we have our intention and motivation, so we are focusing energy into a certain direction, and then we're taking what we're having, learning, and we're putting it towards that direction more. And then we have this, I wanted to let the guy in. I let the guy in. He got let in. I got to feel good. He got to feel good. Positive karma,
Hmm.
right? But if I'm not aware and I'm not awake and I don't care and I'm just this thing that everything's reverberating through without any awareness, I'm going to be like a pinball machine. And it's going to make my mind not feel clear. So while it feels like becoming awake and aware would be more overwhelming, it actually like organizes, those lottery balls, things that like just like go up, woo, and then all of a sudden one falls down, right? And then the next one falls down. And it kind of organizes our thoughts a little bit better when we are aware. So it's less overwhelming to know more, which we were talking about in the emptiness classes. We see things the way they don't exist, and we don't see things the way they do exist, is what he said over and over again. So we see that if we were aware of more, we would become overwhelmed. But the way it does exist is if we were aware of more, we would be more calm. It would cause more organization in our mind. I'm aware that because it starts going down to the energy rather than to every little action. The energy of this guy stunk. It's going to stop with me. I'm going to let you in. Check it out. I just transformed negative energy into positive energy.
Hmm.
That is so powerful.
Hmm.
I mean, and you feel it. Haven't you done that, Freddie, in traffic when somebody does cut you off and you don't let it happen again?
Hmm.
And then you go, I transformed energy. I mean, it's amazing. And in that like of transformation of energy, you get so much more energy. You guys are welcome to just unmic and go living room talk here.
Hmm.
Well, it's empowering to do that, right? It's empowering to own that moment and to not react. Because I, as a human, am very reactive. And that's why I've been trying to learn the Buddhist way since 2021. Not strict, you know,
Yeah.
learning, titrating, all the
Yes.
things.
Yes.
But yeah, when I can see that my emotional reactivity is not like boing, 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 like I can take that
And you feel
pause.
it in your body.
Absolutely.
So
It's
now
like a
let's,
win. It's like, yes, I did
yes.
it.
Yes. So now let's talk about the seed that was planted in your mind.
I would like to add something. Sorry,
Please.
I would like to answer the question. Like there's a best case scenario that, as you said, Denise, you had your breath, everything is okay with you at that moment, and you let people pass by, they wave or they, you feel it that you did something like positive, and it reverberate on you, and everything is okay. And sometimes um, when you do think like consciously, you say, I don't let him pass because I want to just to go as fast as I can, and I don't care. uh, and I wanted to add, if I personally do this kind of thing, if it's once, okay. If it comes easily, like mm, easier than let people go, I rather go by people or cut the way on people. As an example, I think I need to go back to myself and be compassionate with myself, because why am I like this? What is it? My coffee? Is it my tiredness? Is it that I am like unhappy with my life? It can go like it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I think, to be honest, I can say to myself, like we can say maybe to ourselves, for in this moment, I have, like as somebody said, I have choice. But the choice is more narrow. You are seeing things. The choices are very little. You have not much choice. But even if you try, like to give you yourself the space at that moment, I think it can help you. It helped me a lot. Like we all know that living in the present moment is good. It is, because you can see what it is, and you are focused in the moment, and you don't listen to your stories and all of this stuff. And I had to add that. So thank you.
Yes. No, that's beautiful, Adon. It's it's happening like what they say is behind every single action there's an intention. Every one of them. From I cut him off to I beat myself up for cutting him off to I kept driving. Now it was nice to the next person to the next. Behind all of that is intention. So we're trying to create the habit of positive intention.
Mhm.
Now, if we imagined each one of the intentions in our day as seeds that we're planting in our mind, and we say, I was nice 2 times today, maybe we planted more not nice seeds in our mind than we did those 2 times today. And so we're wondering, why are these cactuses overwhelming the flowers? Right? So we're trying to figure out how to, when we pick the I'm going to use cactus. I love cactuses. That's okay. That's just for the example. A poisonous cactus, we're going to use that. Okay. We plant this poisonous cactus, we plant the next one, but I was nice twice. The garden will still be overwhelmed. So the idea is to start going, wow, I wasn't even aware of what seeds I was planting. So what Robina always offers us is I was doing the best I knew at the time when I was there. Forgive yourself, have compassion on yourself. That's all you knew then. But now we're learning a little bit differently. So now that I'm starting to learn something different, how do I forgive myself, nurture myself a little bit, and try to create this new behavior? I don't know about you guys, but for me, the ego was the biggest block to any new behavior. It was, I can't respond like this to a situation. That's not me. But even when that's not me, that identity was a negative person or a negative action. Like I had to go, look, Denise, if you want to create a different situation, you're going to have to try on something that's not me, in quotes. So you can be this different me that you'd like to be. So you're going to have to go out of what you know and be completely vulnerable and try this other thing. And then you try it and you go, oh, that was a totally different reaction. It did not feel familiar at all, but it was a totally different reaction. That was kind of neat, you know? And then you try it again and you go, okay. And then sooner or later, it is you. And sooner or later, the poison cactus can just get out of there because all these fruit and flowers are everywhere.
Mm.
And then when people start feeding back, and when you see your own self differently, oh my God, like you are that forgiven person. You are that loving potential. And you see yourself like that. For me, there is this just giant desire to help everybody else see themselves like that too, because it's such a relief. And I feel like it's so much more aligned with what we would call the truth. We are not these bad beings. We are not horrible things that deserve badness because we did mistakes in our. I just don't believe it. Freddie, were you going to say something?
We live in the Western mindset is such a punishing society, right?
Yeah.
And as you're talking, it makes me realize that my question even came from an insecure little girl that doesn't want to be bad or perceived as bad. I'm asking, how do I uproot those bad seeds? It's exactly what you're saying and what Venerable Robina has said, like when you know better, you do better. And it's this it's this waking up each day and remembering and doing your awareness, because we forget so easily. Our behavior is so ingrained in us, as you said, it's the hardest to change.
Yeah. I mean, and we use this in a class before, that you imagine your mind as a wooden marble. And every time you did a behavior, you cut a line in that wood, down, down, deep, 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 right? Now you want to change that behavior. You can't even see outside of that behavior because you've done it so many times. You're in the middle of this canyon of this marble, right? So first you're, oh God, thank God I even think there could be something else, even though I don't know what that something else is. All I know is I don't want to be in this canyon anymore. It feels dark, it feels lonely, it feels icky. And so you try to see something else and you start carving a different channel and filling up the old channel with the dirt or the wood from the new channel. It takes patience. It doesn't have, oh, I want to be different. I'm just different. No. It takes a lot of patience with our own self. I'm going to do a class soon on relationships. And it's not relationships that we think. It's the way we relate to all things, all beings, each other, the air, like everything has a relationship to it. And we can become our own loving parent. We can give ourselves what we didn't get. And it's freaking amazing. It feels so good. It feels so good. We just have to give ourselves permission to not go, that's too woo-woo. I can't. Woo-woo could be really great. Right? What if woo-woo were okay? Instead of you, we did whoop-woo. It would be so much nicer. So we're going to plant that seed here tonight. How about that? How about that? All right. So we're planting seeds in our mind. Everything plants them, yes. Whether we made a clear intention or not, there was an intention behind something. Maybe it's more subtle. It will carry less energy the more subtle it is. Okay? Which is why we try to, what is my intention now? I did it. What is my intention now? I did it. Imagine if we could set a clear intention 20 times a day. Like we have an intention reminder on our phone or something that just goes, what's your intention for what you're doing right now? We could get good fast. Good at this fast. Now, Karuna always says the idea is to have spontaneous compassion. And my first example with spontaneous compassion, I've said this in classes before, was when one of my son's friends was playing baseball and I was pitching. And he hit this ball as hard as he could and it got me right in the knee. And instead of going, ow, dang it, why'd you do that? Or any kind of other previous reaction I may have had, spontaneously my mind went, oh my God, I hope he's okay. I know he thinks he hurt me. And it was the trippiest thing ever to not think about having a reaction like that, but to have that be my reaction. It was like, wow. And Corona was like, that is spontaneous compassion.
Mhm.
It just comes out because you've been practicing it over and over and over again.
Mhm.
Oh, I lost Freddie. Hope she'll come back in.
Mm.
All right. So we just say, what have we been planting? Have we been, we could, sometimes we want to see ourselves as fantastic people. And so that's all we focus on, but we have to focus on our whole active experience and say, has all of what I've been doing been planting a garden that I want to be planting in my mind? Or have I been nice from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then I don't care?
1 hour, that's all you get.
Right? and the I don't
And
care
sometimes,
are doing what? What, Ladon?
sorry to interrupt. Sometimes you do good, and then it backfire on you.
Yeah.
You don't want anymore. So
Yes.
that's why I think you are right. You need to be conscious, and again, you need to be kind to yourself, because otherwise it means that you just pretending, and when you are pretending, then your body says no, then you're
Yes.
like all of your ideology goes like tumble down,
Yeah.
or I don't know what else, you get fatigue of all of this.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, we know better, we know better, but sometimes because you know, it doesn't mean that you can. Like
Right.
intellectually, you learn, you try to, like, books and all the stuff, and you need to be that's why we are all here. We come with a good heart, but sometimes I don't know, maybe it's our karma, maybe it's our life, and maybe you are right, it's a habit of doing good or doing bad. But sometimes we need to step back and says, hey, what is it all about? Are you listening to your true self, to your, I don't know, inner child, or
Yes.
you are doing it to for other people for a bad reason?
Or your authentic self.
Yeah.
Really understanding more about the authentic self now. Like the authentic self can be most heard in your gut feelings.
Uh-huh.
What does your gut feeling tell you about this moment?
Uh-huh.
If something in my gut feeling says, I don't think this is right, and I do it anyway,
Mm.
I am betraying my own self.
Myself, okay. My own self. Yeah.
Of course, my body's going to go, that was not good. That sucks when you betray me. I'm here to help you feel so that you can be who you were born to be in this life. But if you ignore those feelings, you're betraying me. And I don't know how to deal with that other than to act up. So we try to get back in touch with our gut feelings. We're going to go into that a little bit more. I've been doing a deep trauma class with Gabor Mate. We'll go more into trauma and understanding what feelings are, because we get feelings wrong also. Okay, so what have we been planting? That's part of this. We're going to get into some exercises that I want to make sure we do. All right, so we talked about what we record, we project. Okay, so we're going to do an exercise on recording. We're going to do another exercise on projecting. Then we're going to do some sensory awareness. Okay. Our first exercise is a recording experience. I'm going to lead it without the slide. I finally figured out how to turn the thing off. All right. So get yourself kind of in a place where you can focus and be ready for a meditative type exercise. You don't have to close your eyes on this one. For 60 minutes, excuse me, seconds. For 60 seconds, some of you might have been yes, and the other people like, no way. For 60 seconds, I want you to look around your room, what you're in right now. And I want you to find everything that is red and just spend 60 seconds. I'm going to start timing us now. Okay. Well, now I'm going to ask you, what blue objects did you notice?
None.
right? So the point to that exercise is to take a look at what we record. If we say, pay attention to everything that's red, I have way more red in this room than I ever thought I did, by the way. Not behind me, but in front of me for sure. Then we are recording red, 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 red. We are recording where we are putting our attention. Okay. And the mind will filter what we record based on that attention. So we have an option there. What are we paying attention to? Do we love every time somebody tells us something dramatic? Whoa, we get all into it. Or do we say, I think I'm going to go over here and pay more attention to the calm stuff that's going on? Or I was just thinking, if somebody wants to learn about, let's say somebody wants to know more about sadness because, or somebody experiences, what do you call it? Your normal state tends to be a little bit sad. And so there may be a tendency to say, well, let me go learn about sadness. But what would be different if you say, my normal state tends to be a little bit sad. Let me go learn about happiness. Because evidently I'm pretty familiar with sad. What I'm not familiar with is happy. So maybe I need to go familiarize myself a little bit more with happy. Watch happy movies, talk to people about happiness, read a happy book, meditate on feeling happy. There's a lot of things to do with regards to happy. So we have to look at our own disposition was what I was looking for. What is the disposition? Where do I want my disposition to actually be? And what should I study if that's the case? All right, now we're going to do one on projection. You all right, Auntie?
Yeah. It's getting a little tired.
Okay, projection. The mind uses past recordings to interpret new experiences. Two people can experience the same event differently because their recordings are different. I'm going to do this one in a share and I'm going to do it visually. Got it back? You see it? Ready? Look on this one's visual up here. So, an example, when you record violence, project violence. What does that mean? So I sit home and I watch shoot 'em up movies. When I play video games that are shoot 'em up. And the next thing you know, I'm outside and I'm looking at the clouds and I'm looking at what shape is that cloud? And I'm seeing a combat helicopter in the shape of the clouds. Because what I was recording is now what I'm seeing out there. It's familiar to me. It's familiar to my mind, this violence. I allowed my attention to be influenced by violence. So when that gets projected out into the world. Recording kindness leads to projecting kindness. What if instead of watching shoot 'em ups and playing video games that were negative, I spend more time with children and out in nature and experiencing kindness? And then when I look up in the clouds, I'm now projecting what I recorded through that experience. What we record, we project. So now close your eyes for just a second and just ask yourself, just for today, what have I recorded? Oh, very interesting. Mine are not all positive for sure.
Mm.
Anybody want to share what they're experiencing when they look at what did they record today?
For me, I when I think about today, like I get myself busy. So is it recording of baby, I don't know, feeling like over overwhelmed and go like in French they say fuite en avant, means that you are um like you are jumping, um you like you are walking, but you are uh, walking from something that is in you, like you bring it with yourself. um
Distracting your emotions of it by being busy.
yeah, by doing things like I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. um and I know that I'm on medication this week. So this week, like my body sensation are not very um very
Alert.
nice, very yeah. So maybe I wanted to like go out of that feelings, like
Yes.
out getting out of my body and getting busy and not thinking of that. So I don't know what am I projecting, but it was busy day.
Well, first of all, that is a normal human behavior when we don't want to feel what we're feeling or we don't know how to feel what we're feeling. We busy ourselves because we want the energy to go someplace and we're not sure where it goes, right? I'm reading this book that I don't, are you in the meditation group for our metaverse also? We have a meditation group. If you want to be part of it, you can be part of that one too. But
Oh, okay. No, I'm not.
if you would like to be on that, let me know. Anyways, in that group, I've told people that I'm in the middle of this book called The Presence Process
Uh-huh.
by, I think it's Michael Brown. Let me see. Oh, by Michael Brown, The Presence
Uh-huh.
Process. It was
Mm-hmm.
it was suggested by Gabor Mate.
Oh, okay. I'm in Gabor Mate all the time. I saw him 2 weeks ago. He was in Vancouver.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. He in this
Yeah.
book, it is a very hard, I mean, it is an exercise. This whole book is an exercise, but they
Uh-huh.
say busyness is drama.
Oh, drama or trauma?
Drama.
Okay, drama.
We are creating the inability to feel by
Oh,
staying busy from our feelings.
yeah. Yeah, it's totally that.
But we
For
have
me,
to, I mean, here we go back to we see things the way they're not, and we don't see the things the way that they are. We don't see that busy is drama. My mom sees that busy is very efficient. It's super effective. She doesn't have to feel anything as long as she's doing stuff all the time.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
all
because
do
you're
it.
yeah.
At times we do it. We can't handle the nerves going on in our body, and so we got to move them around somehow, and so we do something, right? That's how, like, when I talk about, we're going to talk about feelings more, we're going to learn how to make feelings a little bit less dramatic and a little bit more useful to us coming up in the next couple classes,
Oh.
right? When it comes out about feelings, that's what we're going to be doing on that one. So I'm going to leave it there, right?
Mm.
When we don't know how to be with our feelings, we do what we can to not be with our feelings. Most of the intention of our metaverse is to learn how to be with our feelings. We don't know. So we're all learning together. And it's way easier in group and it's way easier together. All right, almost done. So the same outside world existed. There was an opportunity to look up into the clouds. But what got projected onto that outside world based on what was recorded before that created that moment, created what was up in the clouds. Is that a good visual for you?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, emotional recording. I think this one is off camera. All right, close your eyes and remember a moment of kindness. And try to get into that whole moment. What was the atmosphere? What did that memory feel like in your body? Let's really get into that kindness moment. And then take a deep breath and open your eyes and notice how it feels right now to be together.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything change? Coming back into this moment based on that moment of kindness, did something feel different?
For me, it just felt more at ease, relaxed and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Right? So the previous moment is what creates this moment. And so we're trying to put into those like positive seed, calm seed, grateful seed, patient seed, all of these immeasurable values. And when we do that, we start planting this garden to be a more beneficial garden. All right, last one. I'm going to do this one visually. So you guys can watch the screen too. Whoops, share. All right. So for about 2 minutes, we're going to just kind of close our eyes to meditate. And we're going to notice sounds. I'll guide you to. You can notice thoughts and notice sensations. And every time you notice one, I just want you to say, recording. Notice the next one, recording. Okay? Notice sounds entering your ear. Recording. Notice sensations in your body. Just the sensation, not the judgment. As soon as you feel a sensation, coolness in my fingers, recording. Warmness in my toes, recording. And then notice thoughts that are appearing in your mind. recording. And then just recognize what you are recording. I see 2 yawns. I like yawns in class because that means you're relaxing a little bit. I like them. Okay. It could be overwhelmed, like, wow, this is a lot of information all at one time. You can watch it again when we put it back up on YouTube.
Mm.
You're just like, wow, I was recording some sounds into my experience. I have a lovely diffuser that Auntie gave me going on. I can hear the little bubbles of the diffuser,
Mm.
right? I'm recording silence on the hearing part. That's just becoming a little bit more aware of what we are recording, moment by moment, all day. All right. So I want you guys to, we can, as we go through the learning process, we listen, then we contemplate, we think, and then we meditate. So we just did 3 different exercises: recording, projecting, and sensory awareness of what's going on around us. And now we integrate that information. How do we use it? We try to integrate it into our knowledge base, into our experience. So one of the things that we can take away from this is to guard our sense doors. To my hearing, I don't want to hear another drug commercial on TV ever again. Like, press mute. I don't want to hear it. I don't have to watch TV either, right? So I can choose what I'm going to allow my mind to record. Think of something that you can choose how to guard these doors to your experience, your touch, your tastes, your hearing, your sight, your smell. You can take care of your senses, and that will take care of what's being recorded. Choose what you allow your mind to record. And then intentionally try to plant some seeds of compassion and wisdom. Bring into your sensory experience compassion and wisdom. Wisdom is acting to help somebody else, right? Knowing how to, If what we record becomes what we project, what recordings help create a more compassionate world? That's our work after this. We can hear it. We can think about it. And if we want something to feel more compassionate in this world, we can also choose what recordings do we want to be recording, right?
Mm.
I appreciate you being here with me.
Mm.
I appreciate you sharing your experiences through these subjects with me so that we can all see how much we do have in common. I appreciate you bringing up what about the opposite of something that you're using as an example. That's so wonderful. Let's take a look at it. If I brought up something that was uncomfortable or that we weren't ready to process, I ask for your forgiveness. If there's something that you have shared that you felt like I don't think that was a good example. If there's any kind of self-judgment that's not positive, please forgive yourself. I invite you to meditate on every last piece of everything you've ever done being forgiven and feeling it in your body. When we get together to try to learn these things and develop ourselves and create a more compassionate world, it has a lot of merit in it. May we be generous with our merit. May we immediately take the good merit that we've earned by coming together like this and generously give it out to all people who are suffering, all beings who are suffering, that all suffering end immediately. And that for God's sake, would we ever learn, may all wars end immediately. May the seeds we planted tonight grow into wisdom and compassion. And may our projections help reduce suffering for all. Thank you, my lovely friends. Mm-hmm.